I'm going to be showing you guys in this video right here. This is the story. This is his ex-girlfriend, Jack Dory's ex-girlfriend. Now, I showed you guys of him crashing his car. Um, but this is the truth. This is the truth about what happened between him and McKinley, and it's just some really cool things that happened with him and McKinley, which is pretty. Some of the stuff that I've seen that I heard about him is pretty insane. So just watch it, and this is from Camila. This is her best friend. This is the girl that helped her get all her stuff out of Jack Dory's house and everything. So when you watch this, guys, I'm gonna turn up, I'm turning up so you can hear. Just listen to what she says. Now, some of this shit could be made up. Some of this shit could be fake, but I don't know. Let's just watch this guy and we'll see what happens. I've seen it once before, but I want to show you guys it. Believe it. Let's just get back to the game. All right. Of course, you gotta force this fucking ad, of course, but that it gets really. Once we get into it, and we start getting to the point where you'll see what happens. You'll see how he You'll see just like what she says is, I think it's kind of the truth about Jack. I mean, Jack's been on the internet for a long time, but everything he does, man, is just, it's not, it's like, the stuff he does is just corny and dumb. Ever since him and Jack Doherty broke up, there's stuff going on about him abusing her, about hitting her. So here we go, guys. This is basically Jack Doherty doing his classic dumb shit. But yeah, here we go. And I'll pause it in between the video and show you guys. Stop it and explain what's going on. Here we go.
He was the icebreaker with Jack and I, because we didn't have any conversations really before that. He was very quiet and like to himself.
I want to start talking about it. Now, in the beginning, there's not much she can say about Jack, but once he gets bigger into the movie, you'll see how it starts. And then there's a part 2 I'm going to show you guys too. There's part 1 and part 2. I'm going to show you both parts so you can see what Jack did that made her leave. Alright, let's do that. Alright, chat, while his ass playing out. Hit this off. Hit this off.
Where's Mom and Dad? They're back there.
Hey, buddy. Wait, what if I got a good person? You done?
Okay, so. Now they're showing
He was amazing.
this part how Jack Doherty was.
That, like, he was so different in the beginning.
The first time you're seeing this lifestyle that he's showing you, the clubbing, the partying, the yacht, like the everything, and then
It was a lot different behind closed doors.
that was the beginning of the end.
Now you guys, if you guys seen Jack Doherty, you know he does this corny shit. But this is, she's talking about when he was on camera. He's all nice and happy with her, and doing all his videos. Wait till you hear what she says. What she says, it was different behind closed doors. I mean, his whole act just turned. This is right when they broke up.
That is the tactic he used on you throughout the entire.
So that one part you guys just saw of him saying you call the cop my own house, that was the end. That was the end between her and McKinley, of him and McKinley. And it's weird because his new girlfriend looks just like McKinley.
Relationship.
Yo, it's her tears going right between her tits. Look at that.
What happened to the guy that made me?
Like, in every stream you guys see, and if you guys stay tuned, I can show you a stream of him basically just making fun of McKinley. He was just so mean to her. Every time he was just doing on stream, he would just make these rude comments, about her on stream when everyone's watching. And if you don't know Jack Dory, he has a lot of subscribers, a lot of followers, a lot of comments, a lot of fans. But my thing is, on stream, when he knows that a million people watching, you're gonna make fun of your girlfriend. Nah, see, guys, this is why Jack is the most hated person on the internet, man. Arrested twice. He just thinks he's so famous that he can just do anything he wants and not control. When you guys watch this, you'll know why McKenna broke up with him. And after this video, guys, if you guys are in the live, I want you guys to comment down below or comment after the video's over and tell me if you think McKenna was right breaking up with him or if McKenna should stay with him. This is what she says. Here we go.
We'll see. When was the beginning of the end? Like, when did everything change?
And she's getting emotional talking about
As you
that.
guys can see from the intro of this video, this is not like one of my regular podcasts. Before we start this podcast,
This is her friend. This is the friend that helped. When you guys see the last live that I did, this is her friend that helped her get out of the situation and helped her out. They're all friends. They're all from Jack, but then after Jack did this to McKinley, some friends left him and some friends actually stayed with him and made fun of McKinley too after.
Monetization off of this podcast. There will be no AdSense. I do not want to make a dime off of McKinley's story. It is not my story to tell. I will not be speaking for a lot of this podcast because I feel as if it's not my place to speak. And we will be partnering with an organization to be able to help women who don't have the resources to help themselves. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to one of my bestest friends in the whole wide world, Miss McKinley Richardson.
Hello.
As you guys can see from the title of the video, this will be about your past relationship with Mr. Jack Doherty. And I want to give you the opportunity to be able to completely tell your truth and your story. And I just want to say, like, I'm beyond, grateful that you are willing to come on my podcast and share it with everybody. And I want you to know that I love you so much.
I love you.
And don't make me cry. So.
I know I'm already.
But let's start.
Alright, guys, this will be the last pause for a while. One more thing I want to tell you about this girl is they all always hang out because Jack Dory's famous. He has parties, he has yachts, and they all were friends. And he was nice to McKinley a few times, but it's all on video, so like, you don't know how it was when off camera. I mean, on camera, he was even being mean to her and yelling at her and stuff on camera. But see, he does that for content. I think all the stuff he does is just for content. Like, he didn't care if he hurts anyone's feelings. He didn't care if he gets in trouble. He didn't care of anything. He's doing this for content. Every time he posts a video, it's content. It's content. He doesn't understand the sacrifices he's making. He doesn't understand the people he's hurting. He just does it for content. That's all it is, guys. It's all content, 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 content. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, if stuff happened like this happened in my life, of course I record it, man. But I wouldn't be making fun of people on their stream. On my stream, when people know you're like me. Like me, I'm not a big streamer yet, alright? I mean, 3K subscribers. Thank you for subscribe and let the videos enjoy live. But that's not, I'm not trying to get, I mean, yeah, I want to get famous, but like, with him, he got to the point of fame. And the point of fame basically made him do all these things. You guys just gotta watch, alright? I mean, it gets really intense.
How did you meet him? How did you meet Jack Doherty? So I was living part-time in Vegas and LA as well. I was doing work, modeling, and I loved social media because I moved around my entire life. Social media was my avenue of making friends, and I had many friends in LA. One of them being Sam Frank, who is mutual friends, with Jack.
All right, so sorry, I know I'm pausing a lot. I'm trying to explain what's going on. So she met Jack Doherty. You'll see why. But she like when she first in LA, she didn't know Jack. Sam Frank, the lady she just talked about, she dated Jack too, and they broke up. So she's friends with his ex, and I don't know if Sam Frank, I know she's dating someone, but I don't know who Sam, you guys don't know who Sam Frank is if you want to. If you guys want to see a video of Sam Frank, know who she is, you can comment down below. Now, Sam Frank was a good, I mean, back then Jack was just young, so I don't know if it was actually true love, but they were dating for a little bit, and then they broke up, and I think that after that, I think he went to McKinley. We'll find out, but here.
Yeah. So we ended up talking. I was in a very vulnerable state at this time. I didn't have a lot of friends because I just moved to Vegas, and I went to high school in Seattle, so I knew nobody. So social media was my avenue, like fully. I had nothing else other than that, and she was kind enough to let me into her apartment and stay
This
at her
is in LA?
place. This is in LA.
Okay.
Yeah. I was making money. I was, brand deals very wishy washy. I would
Right.
have, a day where I would make $1,000.
All right, guys. So she was a model, so she was doing brand deals and modeling before she met Jack. It gets into it when and why she met Jack and how it unfolded. You just have to watch. There's two parts. So
And then, other days it would be lower. And I had, some sort of independence, but it was still something I was working towards. Social media was something that I've always been passionate about. When I was little, I was always filming videos. I was creating skits. My brother and my family were always in my little movies I made. So this was something I was extremely passionate about. So being there.
So even before she met Jack and being on this stream and doing something that OnlyFans, so I'll tell you why she started doing OnlyFans, because she was in a really kind of spiritual family. They didn't believe in like prostitution or all that stuff that people sell at buy for money. Um, Now it gets into where she talks about why she ended up doing that, and keep in mind, this is McKinley and that's Camille, which you know, McKinley is if you've seen Jack Jordan videos, but McKinley, it took her, I would say, I think I read somewhere, it took her almost about a year or two before so this is 5 months ago, guys. So she took her about 2 or 3 months just to get comfortable talking about Jack. Because, once you're dating someone and break up, you don't want to destroy reputation. But it gets into where Jack should be in jail, bro. For so much shit that she says about him. Just listen, guys.
I was working, I was modeling for brands, I was working with different photographers, and she ends up coming back to her apartment. She was out of town at the time when I was staying. And she came in and she basically told me, hey, my friends from Florida are in LA and they were wondering if you would like to film a social media video. At the time, I didn't know who Jack was. I didn't know who any of them were. But I took that as an opportunity. I was like, you know what, like, I'll film a little video, like, it sounds fun. I ended up going to the house that they were staying in the hills, and they were very inviting. I mean, the girls, they were there and they were talking to me. His employees were talking to me, but Jack wasn't really, involved in any of our conversations. He was more so, when I remember him in LA, he was just in his phone constantly, separated from everybody. But like, I loved the people around him, and they were very, very inviting. I had great conversations with them, so I was having a good time. The videos that we filmed were quick and easy. At the time, I also didn't really understand the whole like OnlyFans aspect of it. I assumed, people have their content houses, and that was something that was very popular at that time, especially. So I was assuming, this is a group of people. They're from Florida and they're having so much fun, like as friends. They film videos together. That's their way of making their income. And so, I realized that the way they did make their money was through OnlyFans, and that was something that I didn't judge them for. I was, aware that they were doing that, but that was something I knew that I didn't want to do for myself.
So basically, what she's telling you guys is that when she met Jack the first time, all the girls she has around does some kind of OnlyFans chat, because every girl that I seen on his videos, and I know I go on Instagram to research and find out what I find out. Every girl on his Instagram has an OnlyFans account. So she does personally, and she does. I don't know if she still does it. I'm not from Jack. I don't know if she still does it, but she had an OnlyFans. We'll find out, Jack.
My parents were worried about me involving myself with people that do that, because you are who you surround yourself with. And like at that time, my parents, I'm from Georgia, so very conservative. I grew up conservative. I grew up in church, so that was something that would be brought to me through other social media managers. Even when I was underage, I was 16, yeah, and I would have certain social media managers and people talk to me about not OnlyFans, but different types of platforms that I could post on and get away with it when I was younger. So that was something I was very, very negative opinions. I didn't want to do it. So I told my parents, I was like, don't worry about it. Like, I have a good head on my shoulders. I'm not that type of person that's like, oh, I'm going to do this and then do this completely different thing. I was very, that's just how I felt about it. But his employees, they would come up to me while I was there, and they said, hey, would you ever do OnlyFans? Like, you would kill it. And I was like, no, absolutely not. That's something I promised myself I wouldn't do, no matter the amount of money, nothing. I just wouldn't do it.
Try you 1 second.
Sorry, so were his employees only?
Sorry, I have my phone. Not sure if you guys started calling me. Sorry, I have my phone. Not sure if you guys started calling me.
I was
But
like,
yeah,
don't
guys,
bring that up to me again. Even Sam, my friend at the time, was like,
all right. Basically, what she's saying is she didn't want to do OnlyFans. She told the people there she didn't want to do OnlyFans. So most likely, they're pressure her into, doing OnlyFans. But you'll see why she decided to do it.
don't ask my friend those questions, because she knew how I was, and like she was like, that's actually offensive.
So the people that asked her about OnlyFans, her friend, which was Jack's other ex, Sam, the girl that she's talking about, she was telling the employee, like, don't ask her that stuff. She's not into that kind of stuff and everything. And then she'll explain why she ended up doing it.
Don't ask her anything about OnlyFans, because she's not doing it. And they
See?
didn't ask me anymore, but they were like, well, let me know, like, let me know if you want to. Again, at this time, I'm like, absolutely not. I ended up going back home to Vegas after that week of being there. I was hanging out with them every day for that week. I didn't stay at the house, but I was just hanging out with all of them. And they told me that they loved me and that they want me to come to Florida. I wanted to go, but at the time especially, it was tight. Like, I was like, I just went to LA. I spent a lot of money on Ubers and food. Like, I remember telling them, like, I need to get my money up first. Like, I need to go home and work and just stay home. But maybe, like, one day I'll come to Florida, because they were very, very sweet to me. Like, the girls especially, I was like, oh my gosh, like, finally I have, like, a good group of people around me. They're fun. They film videos. It's what I'm passionate about. Like, maybe we can, like, be a good friend group. Because it was nothing like, usually, you know how, like, people are in this industry. It's like, they're not super inviting.
Right.
They're very, like, standoffish, and that was absolutely not the case with these people. I ended up going back home, and while I'm home in Vegas, I start getting texts, not from Jack, but the people that worked for him, like his cameraman and the girls especially. They would FaceTime me in the club and be like, "You need to be here. Like, I miss you so much. Like, how are you? I miss you." And I remember telling my parents, I was like, "These people are so sweet to me. Like, they're so nice. I want to go visit them." It was spring break. I had never been to Miami. I'd never been to this side, and I was excited because they just kept saying how much fun we would have, and I had never been to a bar or a club in my life. And
Okay, guys. So after that one thing hanging out with Jack, it wasn't even Jack. Like, she wasn't talking to Jack yet. She wasn't in contact with Jack. This is employees. All the OnlyFans girl that were talking to her, and his cameraman, his employees, not Jack. Jack's employees. And then Jack's cameraman probably pays him a whole bunch of money. He has security guards probably pays. You guys gotta see. There's a lot of videos I'll show you guys, but this video is just mostly about McKinley telling the truth about Jack. So I'm gonna let the video play out a little bit. And guys, join the live and like the live. I really appreciate you guys, whoever coming in here, guys. But this is basically what's really going on with Jack. So I'm gonna have pause for a second. I'm gonna post this on my I'm gonna share this real quick so everybody can join in. But thank you, everybody. All right, let's watch the video chat.
I was 20 years old. So Jack ends up DMing me because I was telling them basically, you know, like, I want to really bad, but I don't want to go down there and have to, like, you know, figure out a way to eat or like,
yeah, you knew it was gonna be expensive.
I knew it was going to be expensive, and I also didn't really know what I was going to be walking into. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to stay. Like, I can't afford a place to stay. So I was asking, you know, Michelle, I was like,
At the live
"The
chat,
only
at the
way
live.
I'm staying is if you're there, and I'm staying in the same room as you, because I didn't want to go to a random house with random people being there, and I don't know, I was just uncomfortable, especially knowing, you know, the whole OnlyFans aspect of it. I was like, I would like a girl there.
Yeah, this is all
to
chat, this is
train
all.
me, you know,
Especially given the last time guys asked you if you wanted to start an OnlyFans, so it was kind of like
yeah,
when they're texting you, what goes on in your head, like what?
exactly.
The girl's also staying in the house. It's a valid,
Yeah.
valid question.
And that's what I was under the impression of, especially going to LA. I was like, there's such a tight knit group. I feel like they probably have a house all together and that they live together. So I texted Michelle. I basically just wanted to make sure that she would be at the house and that we could stay in the same room because I didn't really know these people. I hung out with them for a week, but still, like, I just wanted to make sure the girl that I was talking to the most would be there because, you know, I didn't want to be alone, especially in that space. But later on, I found out that when I had texted her that I wanted to stay with her, she sent that.
Okay, guys. So basically, she was doing all this videos and everything, skits and everything, but she didn't have a big enough group with like friends or anything. So what she's basically saying is that she finally met a group of people, and she knew what they were doing, but she was really into it. So now she's getting into, now she's gonna start getting into the stuff about Jack and how she met Jack, how it happened, and you guys will hear some crazy shit that's coming out of her mouth.
To Jack, and then Jack said, the only bed available is mine. But at this time, Jack and I were not even on talking terms. We didn't even have each other's phone number. This came out later on. One of his ex-employees that left him, he actually posted it. And I would have never known, like, he said that he was, like, interested in me sharing a bed with him after not even having, like, any conversation. Yeah. I don't know.
First of all, one, who says that? Because you're not even like talking to the girl.
Right.
Two, why you found out through social media? Like, why wouldn't Michelle just tell you?
I don't know. There were many things, you know, I feel like I do ask myself certain things, like, why didn't people step in or say, hey, this happened? But also I do know, like, the power and control he has over people. So I honestly have no ill will towards anyone really in that house.
Now, what she said about his ex-employee leaving him, you guys are going to hear why and how she found out that Jack employee left him.
And in that moment, you know, like I wouldn't have known his control over anybody because I wasn't involved in the situation. Like I didn't know the dynamics. I didn't know if he was close to Michelle. I didn't know, you know, if Michelle was closer to him than me. So
I mean, yeah, I guess she just met you.
Now Michelle is another OnlyFans girl. So every girl that she's talking about, they do OnlyFans. I mean, I guess that's how they get their money. But if those girls look like that, have OnlyFans, and are making money, why would you? Why wouldn't you just like post videos of you talking or like gaming streams? I mean, why are you doing OnlyFans? That's like selling your body to make money. Which, I mean, if they want to do that, go ahead and do that. But it's not. You're really not. It's really not really. You're not really doing much. I mean, you're there taking your clothes off, and people could buy. Chat. It's just some messed up stuff that this girl got herself into with Jack. Now, before I play the video, now I'm not saying Jack is the most that's the most hated person on the internet. Or now, everybody the Essen Files. That's more shit that is going on right now. But I'm trying to show you guys a YouTuber that is heading towards prison time right now because of the drug charges she got arrested for, and then for telling a guy, jackass at a PGA Tour. Like, just.
I guess she didn't need to like go
Yeah.
do anything.
So
what happened after? So you flew there.
I did. So I said that I couldn't afford to get there. So he ended up DMing me since he didn't have my phone number and I was in contact with the rest of the people in the house. He was like, "Do you really want to come to Florida?" And I was like, "I do, but I just, I don't have the money. I don't have, I want to, but I just feel like I can't right now." And then he told me I won't have to worry about anything at all, even like food. So, I don't want to be that type of person to like be, just dependent on somebody. But I also knew, like I have money. I'm able to get myself Uber Eats if I need to. I'll just go for a week. And I told my parents I was going to go. They were worried. They really were because they were like, "McKinley, you don't even know these people." Like, and I was like, "Trust me, like they're so sweet. They don't try to get me on OnlyFans. Like they just want me there."
Now, her parents were really overprotective. Like I told you, she came from a religion kind of family, and their parents were kind of worried, like, McKenna, you don't know these people, like she said, like, you're going there and you don't even know who they are, like, what if they're, like, but she was trying to say, oh, they're so sweet and everything. Now, this is stuff off camera, so.
Now that I've left the situation and it's been so long, I now realize that I don't know if they were looking for true friends, and I think it was almost a business opportunity, for me to start OnlyFans, and I don't want to think that, but that's not how I felt in that moment.
Now, what she's saying is, chat, is she thought it was just like a big party, friends like chilling at a party, but it wasn't wasn't like a friend hangout, because McKinley's telling you right here that it was like more like they kept making her come there to get her to persuade her to do OnlyFans.
I felt like these people genuinely cared about me, and that's what was really
on the live chat at the live.
I was gravitating towards that. So I end up, he buys me a plane ticket. I leave a few days after, and I get to Florida. It's my first
Now,
time.
Jack bought her a plane ticket to go to Florida. Now, it's going to get into the part where you guys start like, what the hell? So just watch.
Miami. And when I got to the house, there was only one person there, and it was a guy. And I had talked to him like a little bit previously, but it was nothing like what I was expecting it to be. I was expecting to walk into, open arms and people excited to see me. And it wasn't that. It was just very confusing. And I was very uncomfortable with certain things that had happened. I don't really want to talk about that. Um, but I was very uncomfortable. I distanced myself until someone got home um, to the house because there were no girls there. Jack wasn't even there. It was his employee.
Where were they?
I think they were getting alcohol. I'm pretty sure because they were planning to go to Rock Bar, which is this club. Um, but I locked myself in my room, waiting for somebody to come home. I was, just chilling.
Did you text them like, "Hey, I'm here"? Like,
I texted Michelle and said, "Hey, where are you at?" And they ended up coming home not too long after that and just saying, "We're going to Rock Bar. Like, get ready. Like, we're going to the club." And I was like, "Okay, like, what's Rock Bar?" Because I had no idea. Um, I remember telling them, I've never been to a club or a bar in my life, and that was something that all of the guys said was really hot. They were like, "That's so hot. You've never been to a club or a bar. Like, we're taking your bar virginity," like things like that. Um, yeah, I never drank publicly. Like, that was something that was kind of scary to me, especially in that moment. Like, I had drank before, obviously, like in high school, and you'd have parties here and there, but this was something like completely different. But we end up getting ready, um, going to Rock Bar, and for that entire week, it was just so fun, and it was positive, and OnlyFans wasn't brought up to me. It was just, all of us drinking, and for the first time in my life, I had drank heavily, and the same goes for everybody. I think, we were all intoxicated. I think
well,
for
I
that
feel like
whole.
also maybe when you go into a situation and like I'm not saying it applies to everyone. Like I'm not saying this applies to everybody, but in a common situation, you drink to let loose to become better friends.
Absolutely,
You
it was the
know,
icebreaker.
It was easy. It's easier to take a couple drinks, a couple shots, and then have a fucking conversation than it is to just enter, go to a bar, and be like, "So, like last time I saw you," get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like obviously everyone's gonna get.
Yeah, it was definitely the icebreaker to everything, and what I believe was the icebreaker with Jack and I, because we didn't have any conversations really before that. He was very quiet and like to himself. Um, but once we started drinking, and that whole week that I was there, and he was, we were on yachts every day and going to dinners and then going to the club after dinner, and it was this repetitive thing that we kept doing. And every time Jack would drink, he would just, he would kiss me, and then he would say like, "You're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I know you're my wife because you don't do OnlyFans." He would tell me, "I know you're my wife because my wife would never do OnlyFans." So that kind of stuck with me. I was like, he's supportive of me, and like maybe I could just be like a supportive girlfriend, and not do the whole OnlyFans thing. But at this time, I didn't know his involvement. I had no idea, not at all. He was very private with everything. Even to this day, I don't know.
Was he like? So this whole yacht thing, like, is he? So you found him only talking to you when you guys were fucked up?
Yes, because we were drunk every day. Like when I tell you, like I.
So she's telling you guys that the only time Jack spoke to her was when they were drunk. Um, and I kind of understand that a little bit because when you're fucked up, the alcohol messes with your mindset. So you'll do anything. Like when I'm fucked up, like sometimes when I hit like one thing to me that I feel good, I have more to talk to someone. I talk a lot. What happens. Um, but basically, what she's saying is the mindset with the alcohol. The only time Jack talked, kissing on her, didn't have it like. I think the first time I went to that bar, what she's saying is right here the picture, and they went to that bar, and Jack just kissed up on her. They weren't even like together, and Jack just kissed up on her and telling her, "Hey, this is what Hi, I'm Jack. I'm my wife." Like saying like wifing her even before they were talking. She'll get into more about it, how she decided to like leave Jack. That's in part two. You can see part two right here, as she's hugging um Camille with her friend. But part two is basically how she met Jack, what happened, why she got the OnlyFans. Part two gets more intense.
Haven't been through that, and even like now, like I could never keep up with that. I don't know if it was because it was so new for me, and it was also kind of new for him. I had learned, because his brother and his parents would confide, and you know people that were closer to him, because I was new, they didn't really know me that well, but they were just really worried about his drinking, because they were like, that has never been a problem with him. Why is he doing it now? And I was just as confused, because I'm like, well, I'm not like this, so I'm not bringing this side out of him, because I don't drink. I don't do any of this type of stuff. But he would get so blacked out drunk, like to the point of like not knowing where he is, forgetting everything, passing out. So anyways, I realized at this point, it's time to go home. I need to go home because I had a prior obligation for work, and it was going to Coachella. I was going with a brand. They flew me out, and it was my favorite brand. I had worked with them like a few times before that, and I told Jack what I was doing. I told him I was going to Coachella, and he tried to get me not to go at first. He was like, why can't you just cancel it? And I was like, well, this is something like, I really want to go to Coachella. I've never been before. A brand is flying me out. I'm working for them. I signed contracts. Like I was really excited for it. I was pumped. But he just was like, I don't want you to leave. I want you to be here. I want you to be here.
So did you guys like, would you say like you guys are talking now? Like after like getting drunk, like you guys would kiss? Would you wake up and be like flirting with each other?
Not sober. It was the really weird situation. I feel like he was, we would drink every day, but then, he would take me to dinner, but he would be on his phone, kind of like in and out of, the conversations. But I was just like, well, maybe he's just shy. Maybe he's quiet, because everyone around me is telling me he really likes you. Like I can tell he really, really likes you. As this is happening, I'm in the front seat of his car. We're, sharing a bed, and we had never done anything at all, and I kind of respected that. I was like, it's hard to find a guy, especially at this age, that doesn't try to do something with me. I've been used to like guys that like are very attracted to just doing something, and I think that's why
like just very
sexual attraction, and that was something that was a lot different. And I was like, well, maybe like I can start to get to know his more emotional side, and it was like a friendship. It started out with a friendship. But also at the same time, when we would drink, he would confess his feelings, and he would say how he felt about me.
So when he's sober, he was being friends, like, hey, how you doing? Hi, McKinley, nice to meet you, or something. And then when he got drunk, he showed the side of him. So sober, he was nice, like a friendship. Then when he got drunk, what she's going to tell you here in a minute, that he was just a different person.
And I was like, well, people would tell me, his sober thoughts are his drunk words, so,
See.
Again, that was his way of, like, I guess, gaining confidence enough to talk to me, and then his friends, they would talk to me a lot more than he would directly, but they would always tell me what he would talk about, like, saying, like, I'm so pretty, and, like, all this stuff, so that was, like, my validation.
Obviously you, like...
Yeah, I'm starting to like him.
Right.
But within that first week, something horrible happened to me. He had a hometown friend there, that he had known. Staying with us in the house. Okay. He had just came from New York, because that's where Jack is from. They apparently had went to high school together. Mm-hmm. We went out this one night. Jack and I are obviously very together. Like, we were hugging on each other, all over each other. And I remember, his name's, I remember came up to both of us and was like, you guys are so cute. Like, so he obviously knew. He had a girlfriend that was in New York as well. Mm-hmm. But he was here for spring break and just to, see Jack. He was very respectful. Didn't really talk to me that much. Mm-hmm. We ended up going back home. We're, drunk. I wasn't as drunk as I would normally be, because Jack was really drunk. And I would also make sure he was okay and make sure everyone got home safe. He had his jewelry on, and I would even change him because he would be so intoxicated. So we ended up going to bed. And I just remember waking up and his hand was in my pants. I was in the middle of him and Jack. And I just felt so violated.
and scared.
Okay, guys. She's getting emotional, so I'm gonna kind of sim up what she's talking about, and then I'll keep playing it. She woke up the next morning with Dory's hand in her pants. I'm gonna run it back to see if she's between him and the other guy that was there from like his friend from New York. I'm gonna run it back that little part. If you guys see that part, please comment and tell me if that's right. But I'm gonna run it back that little part. I want to hear what she says, and I'll pause it and explain. So.
Him and Jack.
Hold on. I heard him and Jack, so hold on. So right here.
All over each other. And I even remember his name's I remember came up to both of us and was like, "You guys are so cute." Like, so he obviously knew he had a girlfriend that was in New York as well. But he was here for spring break and just to, see Jack. He was very respectful, didn't really talk to me that much. We ended up going back home. We're, drunk. I wasn't as drunk as I would normally be because Jack was really drunk. And I would also make sure he was okay and make sure everyone got home safe. He had his jewelry on, and I would even change him because he would be so intoxicated. So we ended up going to bed. And I just remember waking up and his hand was in my pants. I was in the middle of him and Jack.
Alright, so there you go. So, between him and his friend, I don't know if they both had their hands in his pants. You might explain that, but I think it was mostly Jack had her hand in her pants. And she gets emotional when she feels violated.
And I just felt so violated and scared. Like, I had never been through a situation like that ever. And not knowing who it was, like, I just woke up to a dark figure in the room next to me, laying in bed with his hands in my pants. I woke up freaking out. I pushed him away from me, and I'm like trying to tap Jack, and I'm like, Jack, and he's drunk as shit. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Okay, so it wasn't Jack. It was his friend. So Jack's friend came to hang out with Jack. And Jack's friend has his hand in her pants. But Jack is drunk as shit, and he's probably drunk as shit. So she's getting emotional because of what happened. I'm gonna keep playing it, guys, not pause really much anymore. Just so you guys understand what's going on.
Pushing this guy off of me, and he doesn't care. I turned to the side, like closer to Jack, and I'm like trying to tap him. I'm basically on top of Jack in his back. And he just is saying, "I'm gonna fuck you right now." And I woke him up, and Jack woke up, and he was like, I was like, "Get him out of here." Like, I don't know what to do. And he's trying to hunt me from the back while I'm talking to Jack, and Jack is awake. And Jack is like, "Bro, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? Go." And he was like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking her right now." And I was just shaking. I was crying. I was in shock. And he just gets up and leaves the room. And I stayed awake that whole entire night. Like, and Jack went to bed. And I just was like, there's no way that fucking happened to me right now. Like, I don't know what to do. I wanted to go home. But I was like, well, in the morning, like, I guess, like, Jack will remember, like, like, what happened. We ended up waking up, and he was ready to go out the door for breakfast.
And this guy meets us there at breakfast, and I'm sitting across from him the entire time. I'm like, I couldn't even look at him.
You didn't talk to Jack about it in the morning?
I didn't talk to him in that moment. I didn't even see him that day.
No, you didn't talk to Jack. You didn't say, like, do you remember what happened?
Not at this point, because I thought he was aware. I thought Jack remembered what happened that night and that we would talk about it, and it wasn't brought up. And I was like, you know, everyone was ready for breakfast. I'm around a group of people. He was just like in our living room. I also am like, I don't know what to say, you know, to Jack, because like this is his hometown friend. I don't like, this is horrible. Like, I can't believe he did that to me, and I can't believe he did that to Jack. Like, no one.
Okay, so I guess Jack's friend was hands in his pants, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fucking her right now. I'm gonna fuck." Like, kind of forcing her on to sex. It sounds like to me. And I understand. I mean, she's crying just thinking about this. I don't know why she didn't talk to Jack. Because Jack was drunk. So being after drunk, he might have still been drunk and just didn't remember it. Because you don't black out drunk, you don't remember shit. Like, you can be drunk a little bit and not remember shit.
That we were talking, and I was laying in his friend's bed, he still came into the
Hungover,
room
you
and
don't
did
remember
that
shit.
to me. So while we're at breakfast, I'm like holding my tongue. I'm like, I wish I talked to Jack before we fucking went to breakfast, because now I'm sitting across from this man who did this to me. I can't even, like, I was in my phone the entire time. I was like so uncomfortable trying to figure out a way to like tell everyone I needed to leave without causing a scene, because when you're in that situation, you don't know it. You don't know that you'll act that way, but like I was terrified to tell anyone. I felt ashamed, even though I had woken up with him doing that to me, and it was nothing in my control. I couldn't control that happening, but for some reason, like, I felt uncomfortable telling anybody. But we ended up going back home, and I pulled Jack aside. I was like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, do you remember what happened last night? He was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I was like, he did that to me. Like, and I explained it in detail, and he was like, holy shit, I remember. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. He was hugging me. I was emotional, and I could tell he was getting emotional. And I just remember him going outside and telling Logan, who was his friend that he worked with, and like all the guys that were there. And I don't know what conversation they had with him, but from that day forward, I had never seen ever again. Like, Jack fully cut him off. He wasn't at the house at all. And it eventually came out, like, later on, while Jack and I were dating for over a year, he had texted Jack and apologized and said that he was on drugs that night, and he was tested positive, and he said, I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me. I was on drugs. I know, I don't know.
Fucking shit. Sick fuck.
I know. So that was like a traumatic experience that I had that.
So, Logan. Now, that's the name. I've seen Jack's videos back when he was young. I'm not sure if he was in any of his videos. But basically she's telling you what just happened. That guy is a sick fuck, like she's saying. Oh, all on drugs. Bro. No, bro. Have your hand in her pants while she is sleeping, and she wakes up and her hand's not in her pants. And you're telling Jack that you're gonna fuck her right now. Like, bro, that's not a friend. That's a fucking pedophile, bro. That guy is sick, bro. On drugs? No, bro, that's not how it works.
I'd never been through, and Jack was the one person that was there that knew about it, that he was in the same bed as me, and he was there, and he comforted me, and I told him, I was like, I just want to go home, like, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm so uncomfortable.
Obviously.
And he was just like, no, like, you're amazing, like, I'm so sorry, like, this happened to you, I'm gonna protect you, this will never happen ever again, like, you're safe with me, like, you can stay in my bed, you can be with me, you're gonna be okay. So I think that was the initial, protective instincts that he showed me, and I guess the loyalty
Even though he grew up with this person and knew him, and it was a childhood friend, even though like he did something so fucked up, like he was really there for me in that moment. So I end up going back home and going to LA, and I went to Coachella. I still don't know what the whole situation was. I didn't tell my parents about the whole thing because again I felt disgusting. I didn't want to talk about it, and also I knew they were gonna.
Okay, guys. Now I'm gonna be playing the video a lot longer after this last pause. I understand. Now she's basically saying that Jack was there for her, everything was comforting, but she felt so violent and disgusting that what Jack's friend did. Now, guys, this is the truth. Like, everything she's telling you guys is true. Now, start off Jackie and being there for her and everything. Now, I thought Jack started off her hair and pants and had to play it back as his friend. But she'll get into what Jack did after they've been together for about a year. Alright, 2 years come 2 years are going on, and then Jack starts changing his ways. You'll hear about it.
I'd be like, you shouldn't be in that situation. But I knew that Jack felt different and would protect me now. Like, that's what I, was assuming, that he would never let anything like that happen to me ever again. I think, too, maybe, like, when something, like, obviously, like, that is so incredibly traumatic to a point where, like, you bonded over that. We did. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's like I'm not saying you bonded over the fact that it happened to you, but you bonded over the fact that he was one person that heard you and believed you and was there and saw it. So it's like that's there's some form of like connection that's formed in that moment. It's really called a trauma bond. Yeah. Like you form a connection, you first time you see this protective instinct, the first time you're seeing this lifestyle that he's showing you, the clubbing, the partying, the yachts, the jewelry, like the everything, and then you get what I'm saying? So like first time something goes wrong, he immediately steps up to the plate. Yes. Right? Yeah. So every time I felt uncomfortable about a situation, he did do that for me. And I want people also to realize, I think a lot of people ask, like, why, if he was toxic in the beginning, why was I with him? But he wasn't. He was amazing. And I want people to know that, like, I didn't put myself in a toxic situation, but he was so different in the beginning. And I know, like, what people see of him online, like, it's obviously negative and all this stuff, but that wasn't who I fell for. It was not that. It was a protector. It was a provider. It was someone that had respect for me and, just made sure I was okay and opening the car door for me, taking me out to dinner, very respectful. Showing you a world of opportunities too. Absolutely. And I also, on top of that, knew, like, everyone's passionate about the same thing. So, like, it couldn't get better. I was like, these people love social media. They do fun skits all the time. Like, he was involving me in videos without having OnlyFans a little bit here and there. Like, they would have, like, a little skit, and then it was fun, and I would be like, oh, that was funny, and it had nothing to do with, the whole OnlyFans side of things, but they did involve me in a little bit. But for the most part, that whole entire month of us hanging out with each other was just strictly clubs, yachts, drinking, dinner, fun. Like, that was that. So I ended up going to Coachella. I had a great time, like, so much fun, because I was also like, I have this group of people around me, a bunch of girls I was friends with, and did a lot of things before I had met Jack. That was kind of like my friend group, but it was like also for social media as well. They were very nice girls. So, Jack was in the back of my mind. I was like, I wonder what he's doing, but I did see that he was, like, with new girls. So I was like, like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to Florida. Like, he seems to, like, be talking to other females, and I didn't really know. It was very up in the air. We weren't really
So she went back home, and she seen Jack on social media talking to other girls, obviously. And she kind of felt like, well, I don't want to go back if he's gonna talk to other girls, because then it's like, so she's basically seeing some different side of Jack, where she'll get into what happened, why she decided to do OnlyFans. Keep watching.
And then when I had came back from Coachella, the day after Coachella ended, he texted me. He had just been through, I guess, a bad time because he had gotten his Lambo, like the new car, and there was a huge flood in Florida.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was like horrible for him at that time because his whole house was flooded. His car he thought was totaled. A lot of people in the house's cars were totaled. So he was like, I really need you. Like, I want you to come early and I want you to come back because I need you. And I was like, wow, like, I wasn't expecting him to say that. Like, he needed me. Like, he was there for me. He was there for me when things went wrong. So, like, I want to be there for him and I want to be able to support him through whatever he's going through. I know it was a hard time for him. He had lost his house. So, I ended up planning a trip back. My parents, again, they're like, McKinley, are you ever going to come back home? Like, are you, like, you keep traveling? And I was like, listen, like, I'm just having the time of my life right now. Like, I'm having so much fun. I'm with people that love me and care about me. I go back to Florida, and he bought my ticket. Again, I also want to say it was always one ways. It was always a one-way ticket. It was never a return flight back. So I would just, it was up in the air. But
I mean, like he wouldn't buy you a
round trip. Yeah. So it was always
Why?
like, let me just buy you a ticket and we'll figure it out as we go. And
that's what he said.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of where his head was at with things. I didn't really look at it like in a weird way. I was just kind of like,
That's a control.
So what she's saying about round trip one way, like Jack will buy her a ticket to come to his house, and he'd have a date for her to return back home. Like she would come to his house and stay at his house and everything, and hang out with him, and then they'll just go on as it go. When she wants to go home, then Jack will buy her a ticket. But like she didn't have a day to go. Like some people get a flight there. Like I'll go here, then I return this day. That's not how Jack was. Jack would just buy a one-way ticket there, and we'll figure it out as we go down here to get back or something like that. But watch what happens. Just keep listening, chat.
Control tactic.
yeah,
I want you to know that. I know you know that, but like,
yeah,
that's so clearly him just controlling when you go, where you stay.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that's.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, I can wrap my head around the fact that like, okay, you meet this new girl, you're like so obsessed, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to, when you first meet somebody, you want to be around them 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it. Like, oh, I just want her to stay. Like, I don't want her to go. I don't want her to go. Like,
Right,
realistically, like, hey, do you have a commitment? Do you have something to do? Like, I'll buy you your flight back. Like, no worries. Like, what do you have to do? Like,
Yeah.
But just, I don't know.
Yeah, at that
I
time
could
I
see
was
both
looking at it as he wants me there and
Right.
like, but now
Yeah.
after
It makes a lot of
everything, it
sense.
makes more sense. He wanted me there. But I was on my flight, I had a red eye, and before I went on the flight, he FaceTimed me with the whole group of people. It was Michelle and like all these girls. And they were just like, I'm so excited to see you. Like we're gonna have so much fun. We're going out to the club tonight. I hope you have a safe flight. I'll see you in the morning. And I was like, you guys have fun. Like, I'll see you soon. Jack was like, I miss you. I can't wait to see you. And I was like, okay, like, I feel like vibes have changed, like, between us. Like, I think he actually is, interested in me and, like, wants to get to know me. So I landed. I came to the house. It was a new house. They were staying in Airbnb because the one had flooded. And when I walked in, nobody was downstairs. It actually looked like a crazy like rager went on. Like there was alcohol everywhere, solo cups everywhere. It was a mess. So I remember, since no one was up and awake, even Jack, I was cleaning the area because I don't know
What?
I was just cleaning. I felt like
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I just started cleaning. OCD.
Okay.
So as I'm cleaning,
Okay.
I look towards the stairs and I see this girl I've never seen in my life before. I had not met her. I didn't see any pictures of her. She walks downstairs and I'm just like, well, okay, well, I don't know who that is. We didn't really speak or talk. It
was a little awkward, and then he walks downstairs and just starts laughing, like, with his friends, and I was just like, like, what's going on? He was very awkward hugging me, and I was like, this isn't, like, seem right, like, I'm confused. As soon as everyone wakes up and, like, the girls come to me, even his own friends, everyone that worked for him came up to me and said, listen, Jack hooked up with a girl last night. I don't want you to freak out.
Oh yeah, fuck me. I'm not gonna.
Right.
What are you fucking talking about? I just flew fucking across the fucking nation.
Right. That's what I was really upset. Like, my stomach, like, I felt like a pit. I was like, damn, bro. But then they were like, but it's okay because he said that he thought it was you.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. See? You would see how mad she gets. Like, she flew from LA, I think it was Florida, to Florida to meet up with Jack, and Jack hooked up with a girl at the bar. So, chat. This is my first time watching the fucking whole fucking thing, bro. And I'm knowing this about Jack, bro. Dude. Just keep watching, chat. I can't even explain.
Yeah.
Out of every fucking excuse ever, like actually ever, I'd never heard of.
No, me.
The fucked up thing is, thought it was her. How the fuck? She was flying to the house. You FaceTimed her. You know she was coming the next day. How the fuck do you think it's her? That's the fucked up thing. Like, she's flying to the fucking place. See?
Neither.
Genuine.
We look
Oh
nothing
no,
alike.
no. No, you don't get it. I thought it was you.
Right.
No, I fucked her because I thought it was your pussy.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, that just pissed me off.
No, I mean,
Maybe-
she had brown eyes. Like, we looked nothing alike. But
No, she had like black hair, like jet black hair.
it wasn't my hair.
See? She's explaining how Jack made an excuse, thought it was her. What the fuck? Like, dude, that's just like a red flag. Look, nothing alike. And Jack FaceTimed her before she got there. And he went to the bar that night. They'll see her in the morning. So right there shows that Jack really didn't care about her. All Jack wanted to do is find a girl to fuck.
Was not my hair. But when they told me that, I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not that dumb. Like, I was like, okay, he obviously hooked up with this girl. She was sleeping in, my spot in bed with him. I was upset. I was hurt. But I was like, you know what? I'm not looking, like, we're not together. We're not labeled. But I was like, but I am here with all of these people. I don't know a lot of people, but we're always...
So, she wasn't with Jack, like, serious yet. I mean, they had a few flings, but they weren't together serious. So, I don't know. She should, that right there, should have left, should have found a way to get home or go to someone's house and just stay in LA, but like stay in Florida, but stay with someone else. Don't stay at his house. And see if there's anyone you can stay with, like, or see if Sam gets you a flight to LA to stay with her, something. I mean, let's say that I'm a guy, right? And let's just put this out there. Let's say I'm a poor guy and I have a girlfriend. Let's see, she's famous, she's doing all this crap, she's making money, and I pull up to the house and I see all these alcohol, and I clean up, just clean up, tied up a little bit, and then I see another guy come down that I never seen, no pictures, no videos, no nothing, never met them. I would feel kind of like, what the fuck happened? And then their friends could say, oh, she and this guy hooked up last night, man, but it wasn't. She thought it was you. That guy, like, thought it was me. So this is like reverse. He thought it was her. How the fuck? Cause there's nothing like, bro. That's no excuse. She should have left, but she'll tell you why she stayed.
Going out and meeting new people. Like, let me just like hang out with everybody, and if he's that way,
But, okay,
then
so you were just thinking like, okay, it's casual.
I was like, well, I'm just still taking this opportunity. Like, he's a cool guy. We're probably not gonna date because he's doing these things, but like, I'm down to meet new people. I'm down to be with
You're
my
already
friends.
there.
Yeah, like I was already friends with the people that had invited me down there, and Jack was just someone that like I started to get to know, and like I wasn't expecting it. So, I took it for how it was. I was like, let's just see how the day goes, and that was the day I met you. That was the day that we went on the yacht, the prank. Yeah, babe. You're wearing a yellow bikini.
Bitch, talk about bad timing.
No, it was like really bad timing. By the way.
Okay, let me preface here. Okay, now I look like a piece of shit, but I
But you
didn't
weren't.
know.
You didn't
okay,
know. You didn't know.
The day I met McKinley, I was like working with Jack. I would say like I just started working with Jack, and he would go on these crazy yachts and like whatever, and he invited me on the yacht. So I was like, okay, cool. And he goes, listen, like I'm filming a YouTube video, and he was like, my girl McKinley. He
said my girl.
Yes, like
Right.
you were his girl. Like it was very clear. Like he made it clear to me
Mm-hmm.
that like you were someone that he was seeing, so he wanted to pull a prank on you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, the video was that McKinley was gonna catch me and Jack like in this like yacht bedroom together, and there were like cameras everywhere, and she was gonna walk in, and it was gonna seem like
You guys were together.
we were together, and you were supposed to see it, and I was supposed to be like, oh no, it's a prank.
Mm-hmm.
That was a real thing that happened, and me not knowing that a real situation like this happened
The day that you did it, yeah.
the same day.
The same
Well, it's so
day.
funny. Not funny. It's ironic how as soon as she opened the door, her face just was kind of like, and then she closed the door and walked out. And I was like, oh, I shot up out of the bed and I was like, wait, McKinley, like, it's a joke. And you were like, it's fine. I remember her being like, it's fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, she was confused as to why I wasn't reacting.
Freaking
more.
out because
Yeah.
First of all, let me say something. Let my man pull some bullshit like that. I'm raging. I'm breaking shit. I'm going crazy. So the fact that you didn't, and he had introduced you to me as like his girl, like I was really confused by your reaction. But I guess this makes perfect.
No, yeah, I was like catching her with a second girl today. I literally remember that so clear. I was like, where's Jack? Where's the girl in the yellow? I remember I said the girl in the yellow, and I was like, they're probably downstairs. It's okay. I mean, like it's what I'm expecting. Like at this point, like he's a manho. Like I opened the door and I didn't have any reaction, and then everyone was like, what's wrong? Like you asked me, and I was just like, I don't care. But in the back of my head, I'm like, this is that prank. It just like kind of validated how I felt that day. I was like, even though it was fake, I was like, I don't know like
It's
how
so
to feel about
fucked
that, you know?
That was the beginning of the end. Like in a sense of like that is the tactic he used on you throughout the entire relationship. Was just for content.
Just for content, yeah. And that was like
That
was real emotion.
That was real. That was a real scenario that happened that morning.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did you ever talk to Jack about like why?
I didn't feel like it was my place for some reason. I'm going to therapy right now. Like I'm working on getting better at communication skills, and like if I'm not okay with something and there's a boundary broken, I want to be able to voice that and like feel comfortable doing that. But at that time, like I really didn't. Like I was afraid of getting hurt. I was afraid of looking dumb. I was afraid of him saying, well, we're not anything. Like I can do what I want. So I just wanted to, from afar, from a distance, like see how you operate. If you're doing this in front of girls, I'm not going to pursue you. Like if you're doing all of this in front of me, then it's wraps. Like we're not going to be doing anything. And that was something like I feel like I made very, very
apparent to him. I was like, loyalty is my number one thing. Like loyalty, because I'm a loyal friend. I'm a loyal girlfriend. I'm so loyal to people, and that's the only thing I want is loyalty and respect. He was so respectful to me. Like when I tell you, like he would even go as far as saying, I could never imagine getting mad at you or yelling at you. You're too sweet. You're too unproblematic. That's what I love about you so much is that you're so unproblematic. You're not confrontational. Like he was so respectful. And I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like confrontation.
All right, chat.
And that's something, again, I'm working on is just, you know, not letting people
All right, chat. I'm gonna let this play out. Just keep watching. I'm gonna get a drink. I'll be right back.
walk all over me. And I feel like I was very quiet, and I'm a very quiet person, but I'm not dumb. I'm observant. I know what's going on, even though it may not look like that. So I always kept my guard up with him, especially in the beginning. I was like, you know, I'm witnessing him flirting with girls in front of me, but he calls me his girl and none of them and doesn't claim them. So it was like this constant confusion of like, does he like me or is he flirting with these girls in front of me? Did, like, you know,
It's almost like he's, and hear me out, like I get it, like keeping you on your toes. Like I don't want to give her too much. I don't want her to know that I'm so in love with her. I don't want her to know that I'm too into her because
yeah,
I understand that some girls are like unattracted if a guy is like too overly obsessed with you. But I
yeah,
think that flirting and making it seem like you're fucking other women is a turn off. That's not a turn on.
right, yeah.
At least for me.
No,
like
for me.
personally, like I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, like I want to fuck him even more because he's fucking
He's
other
with
girls.
other girls.
Like that's not.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was trying. Maybe.
I think so too. I think so because he was with a girl before me, and there was this like whole situation, and that was even some drama. Like she, during this time especially, she bullied me, hated me, would talk the worst possible things you could ever say about anybody, but like be nice to my face. But apparently, you know, it was kind of the same situation. He was feeling her for a little bit, and then I came into the picture. I had no idea that they were even seeing each other or were a thing, but I come into this situation not knowing this, and I have this random girl hating me, and I don't know her. And I was just like, I was honest with Jack, and I was like, hey, listen, like, I think you need to have a conversation with her because
Now, here, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's talking about Grace. Grace Rain. Jack dated her too, back way before he met McKinley, he was dating Grace Rain. So now Grace Rain, after they broke up, she still had feelings for Jack. There's videos of her feeling for Jack. Then McKinley comes in the picture, and McKinley's there, and she gets so jealous and starts hating on McKinley.
she's signed to him, she works with him, and I know that I don't give you anything. Like I you don't have my OnlyFans, like we don't work together, but like I would hope that you have respect for me as your girl to like say, yo, chill. Like don't say that about her. Don't do this, don't do that. But that was like a game for him. I felt like, you know, having her living with us in the same house, an ex-girlfriend, which that's just messy in itself. But like he would flirt with her in front of me, and then, you know, she would talk about me to him in really negative ways, and I would hear it, and I was just like, where's the respect? Like I was very, very confused as to why he acted like that. But then he would just tell me, you don't have to worry about these girls, they're just jealous of you. That's what he would tell me. Not, you know, they're in the wrong, whatever. He'd be like, I know who you are, so like you shouldn't care what anyone says about you because I know you. That's what he always told me when I would have a problem with something, ever. If he was flirting with girls or, you know, talking to his ex in a certain way, I would be like, why are you doing that? And then he'd be like, but you know that it's different. Like you're different from all of them. So looking back, I mean, the red flags were there.
Chat, it's just hard to explain what's going on. Like, McKinley wasn't with Jack. Alright, chat. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Alright, chat. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Please let me know. I'm gonna shut the live real quick too. So
error, but he did take into consideration what I had to say at this point. Like,
He's playing both sides.
he was, but you know, I would confide in him, tell him what I had a problem with and the boundaries I had set. But I also knew we didn't have a label. So when I would go to my friends like Michelle and say, hey, like this is happening, I don't know what to do, they'd be like, you just need to talk to him. And I'd be like, well, I don't know what to say because we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. He technically can do whatever he wants. So, you know, I was always really confused. I was like, is he going to ask me to be his girlfriend? Is he going to continue to kind of disrespect me because we don't have a label on it and he feels like he can? So that was something I was very confused with. We were continuing for 2 months to just drink and go to dinner and go on boats. And then I had went back home to Vegas for like a few days. And then I went back, and that's when he moved into his brand new house. And by the way, I also want to mention that he didn't pull out a camera or film anything when I was getting to know him. He didn't prioritize filming whatsoever. I had no idea how anybody made money in that house. I was like, nobody's filming videos. What is everyone doing? It was just fun. So when I came back from Vegas, and you know why I kept giving him chance after chance, even though I was kind of seeing things that bothered me and that were crossing, you know, boundaries that I would have never let happen in a normal relationship. But again, this is not normal because he was, you know, so involved with social media, and that was something that, you know, I actually looked up to. Like with him, I looked up to how much he was involved in social media and also just his passion for it and his work. But I think most of the reason why I stayed and why I kept coming back and why I kept giving him chance after chance was because he was providing an illusion that he cared for me and that he was a genuine caring person that, you know, wanted the best for me. And he was also providing me a life that I had never had seen before. That, you know, wanted the best for me, and he was also providing me a life that I had never had seen before. That, you know, wanted the best for me, and he was also providing me a life that I had never had seen before.
hold on, chat. Testing. Testing 1 2. Hold on, chat. Testing. Alright. Alright, we're good. Testing 1 2. Alright, chat, you guys tell me. Alright, back to the video.
Or, you know, in Miami, I'm 20 years old. I had never been to a bar or a club or like seeing these boats. Like it was something that was so new to me, and it was exciting in itself. Even without a boyfriend or whatever, that was an exciting moment for me. And
Behind closed doors, he was like, was it different behind closed doors? Like, what was he telling you? Like,
it was a lot different behind closed doors. He would, you know, if I had a problem with something that, you know, a girl had said about me that he was working with, he'd be there for me and comfort me and make me sure that he was all about me. And that's all I had to worry about was what he thought of me, not anybody else in the house. So I kind of took it for how it was. I listened to his advice because, again, I'm not a confrontational person. Someone could say things about me and I'm still not going to go up to you and say, you said this. Like, I'm not that type of person. I'm very, like, it gives me anxiety even thinking about it. So I continued, and he was still, you know, buying me things, taking me out to dinners, but it was less like how it was in the beginning because we didn't have the alcohol. He didn't have the confidence, I guess, to have normal conversations with me because we were all sober. You know, alcohol was something that I never needed to, you know, have conversations with people, but he was very locked in, I would say, like to his phone and to his job. And
really?
he is. And
Alright, chat, I'm gonna
it's
get the
really
dab
bad.
piece.
Anyone close to him
dab
knows.
But I kind of, you know, I knew because I've watched him like during like the Tesla stream, like,
Yeah.
and he would joke around and be like, bro, you gotta do Adderall, like it'll keep you, it's so W, bro, like
Yeah.
it'll keep you sharp, like it'll keep you going, like bro, I've like 3 days, you know what I mean, like, but at the same time though, like I know he does have like ADHD, so I was like, okay, I genuinely at some point was like, oh, it's just like he's just prescribed Adderall and he takes Adderall.
Right. That no, he buys it. and he's actually not prescribed even anymore, but that it became a problem with him, especially with the drinking. That's why he got so drunk, because he was, tweaking out on Adderall as well, and that's something you can't mix. So that's why I really looked out for him, and I worried for him, because I knew he was taking the Adderall, and I didn't think it was a problem at first. I really didn't, because again, people are prescribed Adderall for ADHD,
Yeah.
and he clearly, he has ADHD,
Yeah.
but he would take it in ways that you shouldn't take it, like popping 2 at once, and you would have that, that feeling of just bouncing off the walls. That's why he was, so blackout drunk when he would drink. It was that on top of the alcohol, mixing that. It was horrible. There were times where I felt like I had to call the fucking ambulance, because he was saying, I feel like I'm gonna die, my heart's beating out of my chest. And I was like, you cannot mix these things. I don't know what to do. But this was something that he took, sober too. When I went there, and we went to the new house and he started filming more, his way of success was Adderall. And he would always make jokes about that. He would give it to his employees. He would say, you'll work better if you take this. You'll be more sharp, you'll be more efficient, like you said. He really tried to get a lot of his employees on it, because they were doing exactly what he was doing. He needs his filmer to be on Adderall. He would want the people he's working with to be on the same page, because you're just go, 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 constant go. So again, I felt very uninvolved in everything, and on top of that, he would, shower me with gifts and spoil me, and that was something that, I was very thankful for, but it also became very negative, because I realized that the girls were really upset about it, and I was confused, because I was like, are they just... He was telling me they were jealous. I was like, well, it might be that, but it's why are they so upset at you getting me these things if you're not if you don't have a relationship with any of the other girls? Right. It's just a little weird. Because if I'm your girl, then it wouldn't be weird for them to see that you're buying me anything. So a few weeks pass, I'm still doing my things. I'm getting sent, clothes, and I'm modeling the clothes, and I'm doing brand deals in the house. And I remember one of the girls had a conversation with him and just said, what value does she bring to you? She brings no value. She makes you no money. Huh? Yeah. She was like, all she does is take selfies, and she's around the house, and she does this. She's unemployed. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't make you any money. That's when I started piecing together that these girls, they make money from OnlyFans, but he also takes a large chunk. And I never knew what chunk of money was taken, because he has everyone on NDAs, and they were unable to talk about it. But also at the same time, I did have a lot of the girls confide in me, because I wasn't involved, and I had no involvement in the business side of things. And they would just tell me how unhappy they are with the contract that they're in. They told me about it, and I wasn't on that type of contract, but that was how he did things in the beginning, I guess, when people were less aware and more naive. I don't want to get into specifics in people's business, but I know that was probably, looking back on it, the reason why they were so upset at him showering me with gifts with their money. I mean, that's just from how I felt, at least, leading on to the situation. But he ends up this one night taking me to dinner. He said...
So, basically, he's running an OnlyFans organization out of his house. If these OnlyFans girls are doing OnlyFans, he takes a big chunk of money, like she's saying. That's how making all his money. These girls are, oh my god, you guys gotta keep watching. It's gonna get really intense. I can't tell.
That it was a business dinner, and he was like, I want you to come with me. I'm meeting up with my business guy. I'm not saying his name. We end up going. It's a really nice dinner. It's with a bunch of other people I'd never met before, but it was this older guy. And Jack introduced me to him. We start talking a little bit, and he just brings up, so why don't you have an OnlyFans? This man is like in his 40s.
And you've never met him before?
Never had met him before. I was like, well, it kind of caught me off guard, especially like coming from an older man. I was just kind of like, that's the first thing you say to me is, why don't you have an OnlyFans? I was like, it's against my morals. That's all I said. I was like, it's just the way I was raised. Like, I that's something not in the cards for me. And I'm firm on that. And he said, fuck your morals.
Whoa.
He said, fuck your morals. And I didn't know what to say to that. Like, I've never had anyone, especially, you know, again, an older person saying that to me. And I was really offended.
And get this. This is a 40-year-old man saying this to a 23, 24-year-old girl. Fuck your morals. Like, the fuck? Like, you don't say that to a fucking 21, 23-year-old fucking girl that's the way she was raised, okay? You don't fuck, you're kind of saying, fuck how you've been raised. Like, no, that's not how it works. A 40-year-old man saying this to a 23-year-old man? Nah, bro. 23-year-old girl and 40-year-old man saying that shit? Nah, bro. That's fucked up.
I was sitting there at the dinner table, you know, they're just talking about random things. And when we got in the car, I told Jack, I was like, I'm offended. Like, I don't want you to put me in a situation like that ever again, because you know how I feel about all of this. And that was like really like awkward for me. And I don't want you to do that to me again. So he apologized. He said he wasn't going to bring it up again. And in that moment, just piecing everything together, I think that's when he realized
You were serious.
I was serious. I didn't want to do it. No matter how many people asked me, he never asked me. He never did, but his people would ask me.
So he would go and tell people like, yo, do you think she'll do it? Like, you think this week if I fly her out here, she'll do it?
Mm-hmm. Or if I buy her this, if I do this, if I do that. So he realized that. I was very firm on it. I even went so far to tell him, don't do that to me again. Like, that was offensive. Please don't do that to me again. So we go back. The dynamic at this point has changed. Like, I feel very alone. I feel like I should leave because he's, you know, still flirting with me. We're still sleeping in the same bed. He's still like,
Had you guys hooked up here?
no. We didn't hook up or do anything for a year and a half into our relationship. Nothing. I know.
No head?
Nothing. No head. But no.
You went a year and a half, no head?
None of that.
He went a year and a half, no head?
Mm-mm. No.
I
Not
mean,
at
you
all.
want to give him head, but regardless.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so it's her ad. But basically what she's saying is
Here we go.
that he
It's
didn't
the
do
Roots to Go
anything
anniversary
with
sale,
her
and this year we're bringing 60
for a year and a half, but
That's
basically he was
60
doing
month
stuff
interest-free
with the
financing
liberal.
on the hottest pieces and coolest packages store-wide. And that's not all. This year we're bringing more style,
And I think
more
she
savings, and
wanted
more possibilities
her
for
to do
everyone.
OnlyFans.
Are you ready? It's time to shop. It's time
Guys,
to
I mean,
save. It's the Rooms to Go anniversary sale going on now.
this shit's intense.
Anytime there was any popularity on the item, there was a potential that there was going to be a counterfeit that would kind of resurface
just-
on that item. As Alibaba and
To
AliExpress
me, it's
became-
fucked up what he
This
did.
is
What
the
he did.
1,400 hours a year you waste on your phone. With Purdue Global, you can turn that time into...
You gotta watch that.
now I want to start talking about the whole situation as to why I am sitting here right now with an OnlyFans, even though it was against everything that I had wanted for myself.
Yeah, like, what happened? What happened? Like, especially with the shift, like, him realizing, like, oh, fuck, like, there's really nothing I can do to get this girl to...
Yeah.
Why didn't he send you home?
Well, he kind of tried to do that. I'll never forget this night because it was honestly the night that changed my life. For a long time, I beat myself up over it. Even like to this day, I'm like, I wish I wasn't as naive. But again, like, I cannot blame myself for feeling this way, like, ever. I
It's
know.
not your fault.
I know. I have to remember that. It is not your fault, McKinley.
I know.
It's not your fault. Okay?
Yeah.
So it happened and it's not your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't, people can say, you know, what they can say, and no, nobody forced me into something.
Mhm.
Like, not at all. But with, you know, being with him, keep in mind, this is probably like 3-4 months into us knowing each other and like building a relationship. I'm building a relationship with a guy, and not only a guy, but my closest friends that I've known for a while. I met you. I met Michelle. I met everybody that was there, and it wasn't just me losing a boyfriend. It was me losing everything that I had built. So, I'll never forget this night. Michelle walked into the bathroom I was in. I was by myself, and she basically told me, "Listen, don't freak out, but Jack really wants you to start OnlyFans, and he said that there's no reason for you guys to be together if you're not helping." And I broke down in tears. I was like, wow. Like, everything that he had said to me, like, "Oh, I know you're my wife because you don't have one," and getting me to go to dinner and try to get me on OnlyFans, but it didn't work. Now it's an ultimatum. He wanted me, when he realized he didn't have the control over me when it came to other people and like what they could say, he realized that he did need to create an ultimatum for me. And that was hard for me. And he knew that. He knew what I felt and how I felt about him and the whole situation, and how I would tell him like how happy I was and like how this is so fun for me. So I cried and I was like, let me talk to Jack. Like, I just need to talk to him. I was thinking, you know, if I go and talk to him and just say, you know, this is how I feel about this, like, he'll respect it again. And like, if he sends me home and, you know, doesn't want to be with me because of this, then like, I guess it is what it is. But I didn't want to lose that. And that was what I was like prioritizing. It wasn't what I could make on OnlyFans. I had no idea. I had no idea how much money you could make on OnlyFans. I just knew that I really liked this guy and that he was such a safety blanket for me. I felt like he was always there when I needed something. If I needed to go to the doctor, he would make sure I would go to the doctor. He was very caring. But I remember walking into the room that he was in. He was alone also with one of his employees, and I walked in and they just started laughing. I didn't think it was funny. I guess they were just like, because Jack had never brought up OnlyFans to me, so it was like,
Because he made everyone else do it.
very awkward. Yeah, he made everyone else do it, which was, it's sad looking back on it because that was something I respected. I was like, I respect the fact that.
Right there. He made them do it. These girls. These girls are so naive, man. They get him buying them gifts, buying them food, let them to their house, man. Like, these girls need to realize that Jack Dory's not a good guy, but he's buying everything.
He cares about my beliefs, and he understands that. And by the way, I also again want to say I had no idea what he was doing and what business deals he had with these people. I was just trusting him as someone that cared about me. Like, I didn't think he would fuck me over. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, well, maybe this will be a good decision. After talking to him, I was explaining how this is not in the cards for me, Jack. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, my parents, like, I can't even imagine what they would think if I did this. And he was like, your parents are gonna get over it. Like, they're gonna realize how much money you're gonna make. And I was like, am I though? Like, I had no idea. I was like, am I gonna make money? I don't know. And they were like, you are going to be very well off. They were like, this is going to be the biggest success ever. And Jack was telling me, he was like, you're gonna be, you know, my main girl. Like, we can post together, we can finally act like boyfriend and girlfriend, we can start doing things together, and like, it's not reasonable for you to be in my life if you're not involved in my life. And I understood that at the time. I now, if that was said to me, it would be a lot different. I think
we changed so much. When I was 20, I'm not the same person as I was when I was 20. Like, I've grown a lot in
20,
these 2
she was
years.
20 years old.
And I really believe that me being a
So back to the 4-year-old guy asking a 20-year-old that question about OnlyFans. I mean, that's just wrong.
supportive girlfriend, if I am in this guy's life and he does YouTube and all these things, and he's filming his life constantly, why wouldn't I, help him? It was never a me thing. It was never, oh, I think I should do this. I think we would do great together. It was him and saying he had a vision and that we could make something great. So I tried to shut down the conversation and I just agreed to it. And in my head, I was like, I'm not doing this. I'll have a conversation with him tomorrow and I'll just be like, listen, I've been thinking about it. I can't do it. Like, that's where my head was at. But I just literally, I wanted to stop the conversation. I was so uncomfortable. I had Michelle and his other employee and him just like telling me how successful it's going to be. And that was something that I didn't know for sure. I didn't know if like I would start it and then like, my parents would never speak to me again. I was fully preparing myself for that. We ended up going to bed and I woke up and that morning he had a contract in hand and he told me to sign it. I didn't even have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it.
All right, so this is basically Jack had a contract already right up the next morning telling her sign this. But she hadn't talked to her parents. She knows contract made up. So guys, I'm gonna let's play out. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna make myself a sandwich. But just keep watching this chat.
Call my mom because my mom was more comforting, in that situation because my dad obviously didn't want to talk to him about that at all. But I didn't even have time for that or for any legal representation. He gave me the contract and he basically just said sign it. I read through it and I didn't like how it said, he owns all of my social media accounts because again, I had a following. I had 500,000 followers on TikTok. I had over 100K on Instagram. That was something I had built for years. And that was something that I held very close to me. So I was like, I just want to make sure, like, in this contract, do you actually own all of my accounts, even the ones that I have? And then he was like, no, the contract means nothing. Like, we can change anything, but it's whatever. Just sign it. So I signed it. And then first words that came out of his mouth were, "You're now Jack Doherty's girlfriend." And that was the day that we had a label. I was still waiting on the, actual ask and like the, "Hey, will you be my girlfriend?" But from that day forward, he filmed with me, filmed videos with me, and called me his girlfriend online. So I was like, well, at least he's labeling it as we're boyfriend and girlfriend online. That's different than what he used to do. Like, he didn't do any of that. But again, I'm still lacking the, "Hey, will you be my girlfriend?" Like, we're dating now. Like, we never talked about it. It was just kind of unspoken. But I'll never forget this time we went to New York to his parents' house. It was like my first time meeting, people close to him, and one of his really close friends that he grew up with, she asked, "What are you guys? Are you boyfriend and girlfriend?" And that was the first time someone had asked like that question. And I didn't say anything. I looked at Jack and I was like, "Are we?" And he was like, "What's the difference?" And then I was like, "There's a huge difference." I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, the label, I feel like girlfriend and boyfriend, you're exclusive to each other. You're with each other, and like, that's that. And he was like, "Well, I would never ask you to be my girlfriend. That's gay." And I was like, well, I
would never ask you to be my girlfriend. That's homosexual.
Right. Yeah.
I would never, as a man, ask you to be my girlfriend because that's a homosexual thing to do.
Yeah, it didn't really click with me either. That caught me off guard. I was like, okay.
What is can I ask ChatGPT, what is the actual logic? Sorry, okay.
I don't know.
Right. I'm sorry, by the way, that's every girl, like, that's how you build a life. Like, you ask to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Years down the road, you ask to be
a fiance. What was he just?
I mean, again, like he's feeding me these things like he is into me, but I didn't feel like boyfriend and girlfriend because again, we're lacking the sexual chemistry. We're not really talking when we're sober, but what we do have in common is that we have a lot of fun when we film together. And like that was what I was lacking before because I wasn't involved. So now that I'm involved, like he fully was prioritizing me and almost like not putting the girls on the back burner, but just like prioritizing me as Jack's girlfriend online. And obviously like I was in more videos and that was something that was always a priority, but that also started to make the girls not like me either. So even though I'm just, you know, doing me and like just trying to navigate the relationship aspect, I'm also trying to navigate, you know, why these girls hate me. Like I don't do anything. I don't know what to do. He labeled me as this. We're talking. He's telling me this, but he's probably telling them other things. I didn't know. But we were laying in bed this one night after we came back from that New York trip. And he was like, remember what my friend brought up about me and you being boyfriend and girlfriend? I was like, yeah. And he was like, is there really a difference? And I was like, I think that there is a difference. And then he was like, well, I mean, I always said it was gay when you asked someone to be your girlfriend, but I guess I'll be gay. Do you want to be my girlfriend? That's how he asked me. So.
Sun on my face, the wind in my feathers, and savings in my wallet.
They're ad chat, but I mean, it's getting interesting, right?
Kill your dog.
Hey, Dr.
Of
Marty.
course, I made myself
What's wrong
up.
with this?
Let's check it out.
Okay, we're jealous
It's
with
skill
yeah,
killer,
chat.
which means they're ultra
I
processed. At Dr.
was
Marty,
hearing
we
it
freeze-dried premium meats,
out
fruit,
there,
and vegetables.
and yeah, I heard it. It's pretty
Walk
messed up
until there's
shit
only one of
that
you
he did to
left.
her.
So from that day forward, I knew we were exclusive. It wasn't the best way to ask, but apparently he was too good to, you know, respectfully ask me. And by the way, I also want to say the second I signed to him and gave him, you know, access to my accounts and all of this stuff, the disrespect started showing. Like he was not as respectful as he was in the beginning. A dinner, you could forget about it. We never went on dates. We never did anything like how we did in the past. He was strictly just, you know, content. So I was like, how do you keep up with all of this stuff? Like I'm exhausted. Like how does your life, like how do you continue to do this? And he was like, it's Adderall. Like you should try. He was like, you will be successful. I'm not proud of it at all, but I had a horrible Adderall addiction dating him because of him telling me I needed to keep up with him. And also it's like when Jack's face is somewhere, I was always there. I had to keep up with him without that substance. And when I did that, I felt more motivated and it gave me a feeling. I'm not on it anymore, thankfully, but that ruined my life. I couldn't function without it. It became...
So when he did it, you would do it?
When he did it, I would do it every morning before I could even eat breakfast. I did it because we needed to go downstairs and film as soon as, you know, we woke up. We had no time to eat. He hated when people ate. He would get mad at people when we were eating and saying we were wasting time and we needed to focus on content and we're taking too long to eat. So I went through a very long period with just not eating and just waking up and taking Adderall. And I weighed 140 pounds when I moved down to Florida. I wasn't eating for like a week at a time. Like I was just not hungry. I was stressed out. I was depressed because again, I'm dealing with him constantly flirting with girls in front of me. He's telling me one thing. I'm so confused. All while trying to
prove to him that I am different and I want to work. Because a lot of the people that he has signed, they didn't have social media presence, and videos were just like something they had to do because whatever. Like they were in college, they weren't passionate about it, but I loved filming. I loved, you know, meeting people, and starting a YouTube channel was my dream. So I started a YouTube channel and it took off. And he didn't want me to do it at first. He said it was a waste of time. Looking back, I'm so, so grateful and thankful that I had people around me that really wanted me to do it as well. His employees really pushed me, which was my filmers and all that stuff. And they made it possible for me to do that. And, you know, within the first month of me starting YouTube, I gained 1 million followers. And that was something.
So, Adderall messed her up. Now, I don't know so much about Adderall. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of drug. But I'm not sure. Just keep on chat.
I was so proud of, and I felt like him seeing that would also just like, you know, I was craving something, and I just wanted him to see how successful I was. Yeah, I wanted validation, and I think that's a lot of the reason why I was very motivated. Not only because I wanted to do it for myself, but I was like, you know, I want to prove to him that I'm a hard worker and that I'm here for him, and I want to, you know, create this amazing thing for us where you make money and I make money.
Like an empire. You want to build an empire with them.
Absolutely. And that was what my mindset was. But within the first month of me starting OnlyFans, a brand new thing started happening for him, and that was streaming. And instead of, you know, him pulling out a camera and filming a few minutes of his day, it started to become for 24 hours long. He had to have a camera, and then it would be 36 hours, and it would be really long live streams. But if you guys watched Jack in his early days of streaming, you know how chaotic it was. I want to actually play a few things for you guys and for you to see, you know, the difference in the content he was doing, especially in the earlier days. It obviously was a lot different as the, you know, years went on, but in the very beginning stages, it was very, very chaotic. And I want to show you guys what it looks like.
Somebody called and said you wanted yourself.
I told you.
Whatever. My chat's not gonna
Your
care what
chat's
your
the reason
chat's.
why it's recording. I'm gonna
Is this
play the
drama?
camera. I don't care. Oh, fuck.
Wait, what did he do? Wait, did he take me to anything? It's because we're all minors.
I have a problem. I'm going to rehab, okay?
But in these early days of streaming,
See?
again, OnlyFans was very new to me. It was something I was very insecure about. That was something I got to a point where I was like, I can't even look at you in the mirror, like to myself. Like I didn't know how to tell people. I didn't want people to know that about me in this moment. And while he was streaming, he would have these people come over and grill me and say, "You're going to hell. You are a whore."
Right.
Like just constant degrading comment.
What the fuck? Oh my. Chat. What the fuck? You fuck. Oh my god. That got me so fucking pissed. You serious? Oh my god.
Which made me overthink a lot of things, and all this is happening on live stream. So it's not only, you know, just happening in private, but these things are getting said to me, and all while he's mistreating me.
And Jack wasn't saying that to her. His friends or people that he was around came up and told her she's going to hell. Now she's getting into where Jack starts to restrict her.
He's actively cheating on me, telling me it's all just for content. I was so emotional. I was crying constantly.
So it's getting to the point where the truth comes out about Jack. This is where it gets to the point where she was just done.
He would come over to me and say it's all for content, it's all fake, like don't worry about it, it's all for the camera, like I'm here for you when I'm not streaming, like it's just for the stream. But this made me feel like I was crazy because I was questioning my own reality. I'm actively watching you, getting twerked on by girls. I'm actively watching you talk about how fine this girl is and how you're gonna DM her, and like actively DMing girls on live stream and just doing things that I would never in a million years let happen in a normal relationship. Like I'm so big on loyalty. So him saying it's all for content, it's all for the camera, it confused the hell out of me. I was so confused. But again, this is so new to me. I'm like, okay, well, I guess, but there was a certain point where I fully just left the situation and let him do what he wanted to do on his streams and not associate myself with his streams. I started to not really show my face and just hide in my own room because, if I went downstairs, I could possibly be in an altercation with the girl that he called a whore. Or
I'm gonna stop him for a second. I gotta check something, and then we'll get back to the stream, right? Alright, chat. There we go. Alright, chat. There we go.
He would degrade women, and then what do the women do? They look at the girl he's dating and they're like, why are you letting him talk to me this way? So that was something I did not want to deal with at all. And I also want to take into account him being on Adderall was his excuse, because he would tell me he would black out. He'd be like, I was on so much Adderall that I don't even know what I said. I don't even remember what I said. I'm just trying to entertain my stream. Like, why can't you understand that? And that was when Adderall became a major, major problem for him. It wasn't just, let me just take my one. He would have 30 milligram Adderall pills and popping multiple at a time. He would stay up for 24 hours, 36 hours, continuing his streaming like every single day. Even if he would stop, it would maybe just be to sleep and then waking up and redoing it all over again. And I'm not taking Adderall like that. I couldn't. Like, that scared me because I knew how unhealthy that was and how bad it could be if he overdosed on Adderall. So I was exhausted. I was so tired. I look back at pictures and videos of me during that time and like my dark circles, like I need my sleep. And especially in those moments when I'm already stressed out and the lack of sleep, I really felt like I was going crazy. And me and Michelle and, we were the only two girls that were really in the house living there like full time, because a lot of people, would go back and forth to other places. But her and I would just, be with each other the entire time and just, be like, I wish this wasn't happening in our house. Like, I wish I could have peace. I wish I could have, be able to go downstairs and sit on the couch and have a nice dinner, but it was not that. And his whole entire life turned into streaming every single day, 24/7. And it wasn't him being nice to me. It was constant disrespect. And that was something that was very, very new. Like, I was like confused. I'm like, where did the person I met go? Like, where did the person go that stood up for me and made me feel safe? And, but
so there you have it. That's basically the truth about Jack. There's not basically any more I can show you, chat. Let me see something real quick. See, there's something I can show you, Chad, that you just haven't seen before with Jack. Let me see something real quick, Chad. Because there's other videos about Jack on YouTube. I want to check one video. Alright, these are Jack Dory files. I don't know what that means.
It's one thing to rage bait for views, but Jack...
There you go. Alright, Jack. Listen to this all again. So this, I don't know what they're talking about on this one, but I'm gonna. This is you guys see what McKinley said. So this is a different guy saying something about Jack Dory. We're gonna see what this guy had to say about him.
The animal need to bring his crew of skeletons? Of course he did. Like us, he never compromises.
Two different opinions about Jack Dory, alright?
It's one thing to rage bait for views, but Jack Doherty has done much worse and has gone unpunished. From allegedly getting teenage girls into doing OF to allegedly abusing his girlfriend, Jack only cares about one thing: his content. Regardless of how many people he has to throw under the bus, or the golf cart, or the $300,000 McLaren.
No! No! No!
If you're lucky enough to be completely outside of the online clout sphere and not really know who he is, Jack Doherty has been a prominent figure since he was just 12 years old, starting out his career innocently enough by doing bottle flips in 2016, which got him 30 million views. Now, if that sounds like an unreasonable amount of online fame for a kid as young as Jack, then you are absolutely right, because time proved that he wasn't really able to handle it in a healthy way.
Listen, now he's famous, now I kill freaking bullies.
Eventually, his content progressed to light pranks involving other prominent creators, like, for example, showing up uninvited to the FaZe house.
I want them to come out so freaking badly.
Obviously, it's not okay to show up unannounced to someone else's private property. As history has shown, there can be a lot of negative consequences of that. But what's really bad about this is it's not like Jack lived next door and just walked right over. Instead, his mom actually drove him to the FaZe house, fully knowing that what they were doing was really strange. This gives you an inkling as to why Jack grew to be so shameless and degenerate. He was heavily enabled by his parents, but when the guys in the FaZe house refused to engage with his little prank, Jack moved on to going after the Paul brothers.
Logan! Logan!
It was at that time period when the Ball brothers, but mostly and primarily Jake, were becoming self-aware of how hated they were and were starting to play into it on purpose, with a lot of success.
I wouldn't crawl up there.
What? While both of the basketball...
If you gotta know who Jake Paul is, the guy that just got beat up last time he boxed, and now his jaw broken. That's who Jake Paul is.
Others eventually just stepped aside from that kind of stuff for a variety of reasons. Jack decided to go in that same direction, starting small, with things like being obnoxious at random stores until he got kicked out, and then slowly graduating to harassing innocent employees and then falsely accusing them of beating him.
I was just assaulted by a Walmart.
Unfortunately, despite how egregious his behavior was, his parents allowed him to keep doing it. And not only was he getting millions of views, but if his word is to be trusted, he was making $40,000 a month as a kid. At just 15 years old, he bought a house, and as he was being rewarded for pulling these stunts, he doubled down, going as far as to get arrested for content. It is worth noting that all he was arrested for was pretending to be drunk and annoying police officers, but still, to do it on purpose for the sake of content signals a very unhealthy mentality, especially with how young he was. His parents acted concerned, but really, they just didn't want their son to stop raking in the ad revenue, even if it meant he was almost failing high school due to how much time he devoted to his online career, which eventually got him expelled.
Please make sure you are subscribed with post notifications on and set to all, because you're about to see a lot more of me after what happened.
At this point, Jack had completely embraced his format of just being an unlikable, professional public nuisance, rage-baiting people by the millions. During his...
But guys, that's basically all you gotta see. So you see, what you can see here is Jack Doherty is not a very good person on the internet right now. So if you guys want to go see how obnoxious he is in other videos, you definitely have to go watch his old videos and more like that. But yeah, he yeah. He's just not a very good guy on the internet. But thank you for that, joined in. Please go out this video, share this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace!